Parkland Institute is hosting the Implementing a Just Transition Conference on February 23rd and 24th, and Samantha Smith, who's director of the Just Transition Center, is one of the panelists. The center was established by the International Trade Union Confederation. So welcome to the interview, Samantha.
Thank you so much, Markham. Great to talk to you.
Can you describe for us the work of the Just Transition Center, please?
Well, we were set up by ITUC, which, as some of you may know, represents about 200 million organized workers globally. And we work with unions around the world to help unions get good plans for just transition. So that can be everything from a national law, regulations, investment plan, over to city plans, regional plans, and also collective bargaining agreements.
So why is it important for workers and unions to have a seat at the table when energy transition strategies are being discussed?
It is about our jobs. So, I mean, the bottom line is that a lot of transition right now is focused on jobs where we have high levels of union density. A lot of the jobs are good, and the jobs that will be most affected are also the jobs that are, at play in any energy transition strategy. So unless we're there, two things are not going to happen that really do need to happen. And the first thing that needs to happen is that in order for people to support an energy transition, they have to see a way forward for themselves, their families, their communities. And that way forward starts with good jobs. So we need to be at the table to make sure that the new jobs are good jobs, because as we all know, often the new jobs, for example, in renewable energy, are not as good as the jobs we have today, and they can't be. So that's one role. And the other is that no one should be left behind. So that's everything from making sure that our pensions are secure for older workers who are going to retire, but also making sure that other people in the community, maybe not people who are directly employed in energy, but all of the people who are indirectly employed or benefiting from the revenues of things that may be phased down, that those people also have good jobs in the future and people have social protection.
How does social dialogue help to ensure that labor voices are heard during transition planning?
The thing with social dialogue, and I realize that this is a term that we have in Europe, maybe some other parts of the world, maybe not quite as much in Canada. Social dialogue is a sort of wide collection of practices which always involves unions. It always involves employers. Sometimes it involves governments. And it's about negotiations, exchanges of information on everything relating to the world of work. And social dialogue is really important in a just transition. It's actually the backbone of the process as it's been defined by the United Nations. But on a practical level, what it means is that if it doesn't have unions in it, then it's not a just transition. And it is a place where we can negotiate both the binding agreements that we need in collective bargaining, because collective bargaining is a form of social dialogue, where we can make sure that our rights as workers are being respected by the employer, that we have a voice, sometimes a deciding vote on how transition is going to happen. But also that with government, which is playing a huge role in this transition, that we have a deciding voice when it comes to our jobs, the new jobs, and all of the things that need to happen around pensions, healthcare, skills, and so on.
In my work as an energy journalist, I'm often struck by the extent to which we're seeing a transformation of the global energy system, but also the economy that depends on it. And is it important during these sort of wrenching structural changes, more important maybe than ever, that workers and employers are having a conversation about those changes?
It really is, for just a range of reasons, and one that we haven't talked about so far is that as workers, we know what's going on with the technologies, what's going on with the company, how some of the great ideas of climate action actually work when they hit the ground. And that's something that we uniquely bring to this process of social dialogue, the engagement with employers and with government, so we can help to turn good ideas into things that are going to create good jobs, make for thriving and prosperous companies and communities. I think the other thing is just about getting broad support for this transition. I mean, not going to lie, it's a big transition, needs to happen really fast. And we're not going to get there unless people, including the labor movement, which is, the second largest group of organized people in the world, unless we are supporting it and coming with our ideas and making sure that we have good jobs. And of course, with employers, whether they're the government or private sector employers, they also have a key role. They have the capital, as do investors. And so they need to put it in the right place.
Well, Samantha, thank you very much for this, and we'll look forward to your presentation at the conference.
Great. Nice to talk to you. Thank you.